Did people back home in Germany know what was being done in their name? After the war, ordinary Germans gave conflicting accounts of what was or was not known.
We had problems of our own. The war, the day-to-day, grabbed us like a prisoner. If we heard rumors, it was a very distant thing.
They were called work camps. That's what we thought they were for. And I used to think, good. It'll be the first honest day's work they've done in their lives.
They were secret. They kept the camps secret, otherwise there would have been a protest. That was why they kept them secret. We didn't know nothing.
Everyone knew. The gassings, everything. They can't say otherwise. People made jokes about it. We had this cheap soap. It floated on water. People said it was made from the Jews.
Why did no one speak out? Because the horror stopped people's mouths. If you spoke out, you went to a camp yourself.
Hans Scholl was one of those few exceptional Germans brave enough to take the risk. The only pictures that survive show him as a young student at Munich University. It was there he'd learned to hate Nazism, how it crushed individual freedom. In 1942, with a small group of student friends, he began to print leaflets in secret. They called themselves the White Rose, white for purity.
We will not be silenced. We are your bad conscience. The White Rose will not leave you in peace.
At first, Hans's sister Sophie was angry, terrified that he should run such a risk. But she too loathed the Nazis. The way, for instance, the local party boss, Paul Giesler, had urged the girl students to bear a child for Hitler.
One a year. That's what we want. Preferably a boy. It's pretty automatic once you're in the swing of it, and if you're too charmless to find a mate, I'll lend you one of my offices.
Giesler sparked off a near riot amongst the Munich students. For Hans and Sophie, it spurred them on to more opposition. Another 5 leaflets printed in bulk and taken by train for posting in towns across Germany. The aim was to spread the word.
In the name of the German people, we demand of Hitler the return of our most valuable possession, freedom.
Who's it come from?
A leaflet of the resistance movement in Germany.
How did they get our address?
I don't know. From the phone book, it doesn't matter.
Burn it! You must burn it! It mustn't be found in the house.
I will burn it. But first, I'm going to read it.
On February the 18th, 1943, Hans and Sophie were spotted in the empty university, showering leaflets down the central stairwell. They'd known the risks. Sophie had said just days before,
"So many people have died for this regime. It's time someone died against it."
They were arrested, tried, and beheaded for high treason.
I never saw these 2 young people. I heard only bits and pieces of the story broadcast from London. But the importance of what I heard, I could hardly believe it.
This is the BBC Home and Forces program.
The Scholls are the first in Germany with the courage to speak out for the truth. One day we must all make a pilgrimage to their graves and stand before them, ashamed.
The aircraft of the Coastal and Bomber Commands have carried out day and night attacks on the port of Brest and on enemy shipping there.
1943 was the war's turning point. The German army was retreating in Russia and Africa, and the carpet bombing of German cities had begun. Propaganda Minister Goebbels talked of a new kind of war demanding total sacrifice. Would Germany fight total war? But in reality, the Nazis were slowly losing control, and the atmosphere shifted accordingly.
Suddenly, people walk straighter, their faces shine. Everyone senses a ghostly hand has nailed the Nazis' death warrant to the wall. And what do we find? Petty party officials sniffing which way the wind's blowing, saying Gruß Gott again instead of Heil Hitler. Nazi school teachers back in church. The swastika disappearing from coat lapels. The women's leader quietening down.
The Nazis were running scared, but also the harsh realities of war, rationing, bombing, were puncturing Nazi confidence. Grumbling became more common, black humor at Hitler's expense, and at last, some active resistance. Reck's diary mentions army deserters sabotaging the war machine. But the government hadn't given up. This was total war, and the Nazis were punch-drunk on terror.
5-minute trials are enough. They stamp on the verdict, liquidate and expropriate. Kill, then seize all property. The victim shoved out a back door where the guillotine stands waiting, and in university medical schools the corpses are piling up so high in the dissecting rooms they've refused all further shipments.
And still the war dragged on, week after week. With every week, another 30,000 murders in the death camps. Only Hitler's death would stop the madness. But he was like a fox, gone to earth. As Reck had so despairingly put it,
why should Herr Hitler worry? Every day his shelter is dug deeper and deeper into the earth.
Reck wrote those words on July the 18th, 1944. 3 days earlier, this photo had been taken. Hitler with one of his generals, and standing beside them, Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg. On July 20th, Stauffenberg put a bomb in a briefcase under a map table just a few feet from Hitler. Then, with the fuse set at 10 minutes, he left the room and flew to Berlin, where a full army rebellion was ready and waiting. But the bomb plot failed. Hitler, shielded by the wooden leg of the map table, survived the blast.
God guarded and protected the Führer. God did not desert Germany in its fateful hour.
In the wave of terror that followed the bomb plot, another 5,000 Germans lost their lives. Some were strung up on butcher's hooks to prolong their agony. And Hitler, it was said, liked to watch the execution footage over and over again. Fritz Reck was himself arrested in October 44. We don't know exactly what he did. The official charge said he undermined army morale. He died in Dachau concentration camp. A Genickschuss, a shot in the neck.
You, up there, I hate you, waking and sleeping. I don't know if I'll survive your downfall, but this I do know. man must hate this Germany with all his heart if he really loves his country. I'd 10 times rather die than see you triumph.
This is London calling. Here is a news flash. The German radio has just announced that Hitler is dead. I repeat that. The German radio has just announced that Hitler